exactly is doing what when it comes to the coaching staff? Will it be Judge or Patricia running the offense? Mayo or Steve Belichick calling the defensive plays? All right, let's bring in Tom E. Curran and Greg Bedard. He's going to stick around to talk about his normal beat, the Patriots. Bedard, you're hearing some things about how folks down in Foxborough feel about the muddy coaching waters. What are you hearing?
Yeah, so I don't want to make a huge deal out of this yet because let's keep in mind, this is a completely new regime on the offensive side of the ball. They could be doing things a different way, and there could be a lot of people who aren't used to the new way things are going to be done, and maybe they might be better. I'm allowing for that because it's extremely early in terms of what they've done. But so far, I mean, I have countless people who have either been with the Patriots or are hearing from players on the team who they are alarmed to this point, and they've barely done anything so far, Trenni. And so they are really worried about the direction of the offense, where this is going, especially off of what a lot of people heard. A lot of people around the NFL listened to what Joe Judge said the other day, and almost all of them were like, what? What is he talking about? And so there is a high level of concern about what's going on with the Patriots.
Trenni, I would echo that. There is concern, and I think it's concern that we've kind of trod upon this ground a little bit in saying, okay, well, you can't have too many chefs. We understand that when you have Josh McDaniels, there's an institutional knowledge that's there where you can just, okay, we're going to pivot to this. We've seen this before. We understand how to do this. If there's an open audition or competition to see who the play caller is going to be, and we all understand that the play caller rides sidecar with the quarterback and is at his side at all times, and they share a philosophy and a way of doing things. Same with the quarterback's coach. Well, then if the offensive coordinator is somebody different and doesn't share the same viewpoint, then we're having too many different cooks. And Greg, see if you agree with this or not. When we listen to Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, there is no shortage of words. They are verbose individuals, and they are not succinct. I have had good experiences talking to each, but I am concerned with how much information is going to go into the ears of the second-year quarterback. So I'm not surprised, and I've also heard concern about the messaging and how difficult it might be for a very important player, Greg, you might say the most important player, to take the necessary step this year.
Oh, I mean, I completely agree with you. I mean, you know, let's just take, for example, the other day that when Joe Judge talked, he talked about how they're all sitting around and they're talking about the concept of plays and all of this stuff. That's great and all.
We actually, but if you want to hold on a sec, we know how much you hate this soundbite.
Yeah,
so everyone is familiar with it. Let's play
it. This is good,
guys.
For us, it's important right now for all of our coaches to be able to coach all the skill players, okay, or for that matter, the line players as well as we go through this. And every coach will have a hand and a responsibility in designing and presenting part of the game plan, whether that's red area, early down, run game, short yards, whatever it may be. And those coaches will talk and present to the players. And then we'll break off an individual and we'll have conversations. Along with that, before we ever break that offensive staff meeting, it's important we leave that every coach is on the same page.
Okay, then that was a different quote, another one that I did not like very much. Look, there was a couple of truths that he said in there around that quote, which was, Vinny Sunseri is going to run ball security drill. He's going to coach the quarterbacks. Yep, no problem. Tuck the ball, understand that. And, you know, all the coaches are going to have a specific duty within the game plan. They're going to have to present that. Red area, whatever, they're going to have to work on it. But that's not what Joe's talking about. Joe is talking about literally offensive coaches like the line coach needing to be able to talk to the quarterback and be able to instruct him. That's just not true. It's a bunch of malarkey that he's talking about. No, what we need, what the Patriots need, is a QB guru who knows how to instruct Mac Jones about going to the next level. Because guess what? Mac Jones is advanced. He was advanced as a rookie. He's not that advanced. He needs coaching. He needs tough coaching. And so far, what we've heard, he's not going to get it.
I think he'll get tough coaching. I don't know how astute it'll be, especially early in the year. I want to give an example from 2021. Last year, the Patriots were not short of talent or experience on the defensive side of the ball. However, early on in the year, we saw substitution problems, we saw penalty problems, we saw 10 men on the field, we saw 12 men on the field, we saw timeouts having to be burned, we saw red zone breakdowns. You think Gerard Mayo and Steve Belichick, for all the crap that Steve Belichick takes, you think those guys don't know what they're doing? Absolutely they know what they're doing. So does Bill Belichick. But what you have is perhaps too many people wearing too many hats, communicating too many different things, and the buck does have to stop somewhere.
Yeah, but Tom, can I just say one thing about that? You know, you're absolutely right about Gerard and Steve Belichick. But there's a difference between that and what we're talking about on the offensive side. Because Gerard Mayo, great linebacker, multiple years as a coach. Steve Belichick might not have the experience, but multiple years coming up in the system. We're talking about Matt Patricia, a former defensive coordinator. Joe Judge, a former special teams coach, who was, let's just call it the facts, a disaster as a receivers coach when he was given that opportunity in 2019. And so, you know, we're just talking about two different things. I understand your point. It's completely valid, but that's why you and I are sounding the alarm bells about what's going on in offense, because how do you match up with that on the offensive side of the ball? I just don't think you can.
Yeah, I think the defensive example I'm using is they were probably ahead of the offense as it is right now in terms of experience among the players and having Bill Belichick over there. Look, at some point, my presumption is, Trenni, Bill Belichick is going to have to intervene offensively and start saying, okay, you know what, here's how we're going to do this. And maybe he plans to do that in July anyway. But the notion of an audition that's going on for the play caller role, again, the play caller is not just a guy going, run a slant. There's a lot that goes into it. And they all know that. I'm not telling them anything they don't know. They forget more in a night's sleep about X's and O's football than I know. But still, it's not something that you can just kind of slap out there. We'll figure it out on the fly. And I think Bill has such utmost confidence, some would say to the point of arrogance, that, you know what, we don't have to do it the way everybody else does. We'll figure it out.
I mean, we could all be like Felger and Marcus Smart a few weeks ago and have like literal egg on our face, but this seems a little more ominous.